We're now joined by Lachlan Harris. He's a former Senior Press Secretary to Prime Minister Rudd the first time round. Good afternoon, Lachlan. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Do you think that Mr Rudd has changed?
Yeah, look, I think there's no doubt about that. An experience like losing the Prime Ministership, for someone like Rudd or anyone who becomes a Prime Minister, it's their life's work. I don't think there's any doubt that losing it will change you. I don't think it's going to be obvious exactly what's changed and how it's changed until we see Rudd back in the kind of the pressure of the Prime Ministership, the pressure cooker of the office. But there is no doubt he will in some way be changed. Lots of people talk about how, politicians, once you've been a Prime Minister and you've lost it, you've actually lost the power. You're a very different person because you understand all of this, everything, all the power, all the influence, the cars and the security guards and all that sort of stuff. It all comes to an end one day. And so I think that would change anyone. Just how he's changed, I don't think we'll really know yet. I don't think we'll really know until we see him in office for the next couple of months.
And Lachlan, we read a lot about the tantrums and the abuse. Just as an insider point of view, how bad was it?
No, I mean, look, Kevin Rudd's a friend of mine, so if you're looking for someone to bag Rudd, you're talking to the wrong person.
I do. Even friends, obviously, they have falling out at arguments in a high-pressure situation.
Yeah, look,
I suppose what I'm asking, Lachlan, is it as bad as it's being portrayed? No,
look, I've worked for a lot of Labor leaders, basically, and I've worked against a lot of Liberal opposition leaders and Prime Ministers, and the people that really love them, the people that worship every word they say, they have a really kind of very optimistic view of the sort of people they are. And the people that hate them, who think they're running around sort of tearing, hosties' heads off and kind of acting irrationally, they have a really kind of exaggerated negative view of them. Most of these people, including Rudd, are middle-of-the-road kind of people. They have good days, they have bad days, but they're not fundamentally the sort of people that are any different to the boss that you would have anywhere else, basically.
Given the ill feeling, do you think that he will be able to unify the government now and present a unified front to go to the election?
I think there's no doubt that the absolute proximity to the election means there will be discipline within Labor for the next couple of months. Don't get me wrong, there'll be blow-ups, there'll be breakouts, there'll be blow-ups. The challenge for Rudd will be to effectively say, look at all that. Look, when there's an example of instability, or there's a leak or something like that, he has to say, look, that's what's wrong with the Labor Party. I'm going to change it. I'm going to make sure this stuff doesn't happen again. I'm going to reform the party and get on with the business of governing. So he has to effectively turn those negatives into positives if he has any hope of winning, because there will be some breakout. But I don't think there'll be kind of challenges or anything like that this close to an election. But there'll be days when there'll be stuff about internal Labor Party politics in the paper, and the challenge for Rudd is, can he make that a positive by convincing people he can change the Labor Party?
Well, I watched you on TV last night, and my limited experience with Julia Gillard was the same as yours. Off camera, she had a very appealing personality, but it just couldn't translate. Why didn't she cut through in the media and to the people in general?
It's a really interesting question. I don't think you ever really know that. Some people broadcast. I always talk about this between narrowcasting and broadcasting. Narrowcasting is when you walk into a room and you're warm and you're funny, and there's no doubt in my mind that Julia Gillard was an incredible narrowcaster. She was great in a room, great to have dinner with, and she's a very nice person. The broadcast, the way that she broadcasted, didn't connect with the Australian people. I don't think that was necessarily all about Gillard. I think a little bit was about the way that she became Prime Minister. I think really that had a big influence on people's views on her, and in really unforeseen ways. And then when you kind of doubled down on that by being in a minority government, there was just that lack of very few people, I think, in the community felt like they created the Gillard Prime Ministership, and that's really dangerous for a Prime Minister. I think there's lots of people out there who, like Rudd, don't like Rudd, thought he was doing a good job. They feel like they created him as Prime Minister, if you understand what I mean, and they were really loyal. Julia never quite had that core of people, and I think that really hurt her when the inevitable bad days came along, which they always do in politics.
And Lachlan, we do have to be quick because we're wrapping up towards the news, but would you, in a nutshell, advise Kevin Rudd to go to the people as quickly as possible?
Yeah, I think it's in Rudd's interest to have an election. I don't have any doubt about that. I don't think we're going to go past September 14. There's certain there's some logistical stuff you have to get ready before you have an election. But I think I don't think he'll choose September 14 because that's Julia Gillard's election day. I think that'd be a mistake. I don't think he should extend in any way. The question is how quickly can you bring it back without not being ready effectively? And we're talking a matter of weeks here. Look, the reality is the election is probably 60 days away, possibly even less. Like, we're going to be in a campaign. Most elections are 42 or 45 days. We're going to be in a campaign before you blink. So I wouldn't be getting too excited about the election, but it's going to be sometime between late August and early September, and we're going to be in a campaign 2 to 3 weeks. So it's on. For all intents and purposes, we're in a campaign. It is on. We're going to the polls, and it's going to be an interesting couple of months.
Lachlan Harris, former Senior Press Secretary to Prime Minister Rudd, thanks indeed for your time.